Good afternoon to all of you. Shri Nana Patole, President, Maharashtra Pradesh Congress Committee. Shri Bhai Jagtap, President, of the Mumbai Regional Congress Committee. Shri Ashok Chavan, Minister. Shri Chapra, Shri Ranpi Se, Shri Ganesh Yadav, Shri Ramesh Shetty, all other office bearers of the MPCC and the MRCC, friends of the media. I know it's been a heavy downpour in Mumbai, yet I'm very glad that so many of you have turned up for this press conference. My colleagues in the AICC are fanning out throughout the country, addressing such press conferences in order to bring to the people the grave implications of the national monetization pipeline. We've heard of a gas pipeline, we've heard of a petroleum pipeline, and the Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, in 3 successive independent days, announced the national infrastructure pipeline, and today we have a national monetization pipeline. In one sense, I am grateful to the Prime Minister and the Finance Minister, and taunted us by saying, for 70 years, nothing was done in this country. Trying to blame the Congress government, but unwittingly they also blamed the Morarji Desai government, they blamed the Vajpayee government also. But the target was the Congress party. For 70 years you did nothing. I'm happy that what we did in 70 years has been acknowledged and published by the Modi government. I won't read the whole list. 26,700 kilometers of national highway, 28,608 circuit kilometers of transmission lines, 8,000 kilometers of gas pipeline, 210 lakh metric ton storage capacity of warehouses, railways, 2,86,000 kilometers of fiber, airports, seaports. The list is a very long list. Finally, Mr. Modi and his team have acknowledged that all this was built in 70 years. So the first big lie has been exposed. Nothing was done in 70 years is exposed by their own list. And now what they are planning to do is dispose of these assets built over 70 years. They call it monetization. Just as the word demonetization was propagated throughout the country thanks to Mr. Narendra Modi's foolish decision of 2016. Now they are trying to publicize the word monetization. Whatever the Finance Minister may say, please take it from me, what they are doing is selling these assets. Every day the Finance Minister denies that we are selling the assets. She says we are the owner, we will be the owner, and after 30, 40, 50 years, this asset will come back to us. Fine. I'm sure the finance minister owns a house somewhere in India. I'll be very happy if she gives it to me on lease for 99 years. She can hang on to a piece of paper saying she's the owner. But I will live in that house for 99 years. At the end of 99 years, what will I give back to her? Suppose I don't maintain the house, I don't paint the house, I don't repair the house. At the end of 99 years, what will she get back? That is what's going to happen to these assets. When you privatize an asset, you sell it, someone buys it. He is the owner. So he is responsible for maintaining it, for repairing it, for upgrading it, and for renewing it. But if he is not the owner, and if he has to return it after 50 or 60 years, what is his interest in maintaining that asset? There is a word in economics, asset stripping. Asset stripping. That is what's going to happen here. Even if assets are not stripped, it will not be maintained. Let me make it clear. We are not against privatization. Has disinvested a number of PSUs. The Congress Party has privatized a number of PSUs. The National Highway PPP. We are not against it. Clandestine sale of assets under the name of monetization. There are many, many dangers. I don't want to take much of your time pointing out each danger. Let me point out 2 or 3 dangers. The first danger China two or three people, there will be cartelization, there will be price fixation, prices will rise. All that has been built in 70 years, they are trying to palm it off to a few houses in 4 months. The people must be aware of this danger, and the people must raise their voice against this danger. The most important question is, nobody was consulted on this policy. They did not float a consultation paper. They did not invite the trade unions for a discussion. They did not invite political parties for a discussion. This was not announced in Parliament. There is no debate in Parliament. And take it from me, there will never be a debate in Parliament. They will not allow a debate in Parliament. Just as they did not allow a debate in Parliament on the farm laws, on Pegasus, they will not allow a debate in Parliament. Some excuse or other, shut out the debate in Parliament. The government doesn't answer questions. The Prime Minister never addresses a press conference. He loves you so much that he doesn't want to meet you. For 7 years he has not met you. He must be the only chief executive in the whole world who has never met the press in 7 years, and he will not meet you for the remaining 3 years either. The finance minister doesn't answer questions. She makes unilateral statements. I have raised 20 questions. I'm raising the questions before you, and I want you to raise these questions and demand answers. These questions are vital questions. There are no objectives, there are no criteria. What is the value of the asset that will come back to you after 40, 50 years? I have suggested that the depreciation must go into a depreciation reserve account. And the money should be used only to maintain and upgrade an improved asset. Otherwise there will be asset stripping. I've raised questions about the design, about monopolies, about employment, about reservation, about prices, about how this 6 lakh crore will be used. Vital questions. I've raised 20 questions. I'm not reading it out to you. I think the copy has been circulated to you. Please have the copy. Please read it, and please take it as part of my press conference. I think I should now allow so that you can have some time to ask questions. And Congress party is always ready and willing to answer questions raise for the media. Questions now.
Is it profit to make the government in Maharashtra for Congress?
What?
Is it profit for Congress to make government in Maharashtra?
No, we're talking about national monetization. What problem? Please ask questions on the subject.
I think Yogesh, please go ahead.
Who's asking the question?
Vinaya.
So, you have raised several issues. I'm sorry, I haven't yet been able to go through all the questions. But, you have said that the policy that is being brought forth will never be discussed, but it will lead to cardinalization.
Yes.
Is there any specific way in which you see that it can be covered?
See, we have not seen their design yet. They say we are going to invite bids. So we have to see the document called Invitation to Bid, ITB. But that document must say, if somebody already has, say, 6 airports, he will not be allowed to bid for the new airport. If somebody already has X% share of the market, he will not be allowed to bid in this process. Somewhere you must find a place where it's mentioned that monopolies will be discouraged. Monopolies will be actively discouraged. We will not allow anyone to bid who already has a certain market share.
If this isn't presented in the parliament, how else will it happen?
They have not presented in the parliament.
So,
She announced it outside parliament after parliament session was adjourned. Why didn't she not announce it in parliament? It's an important policy from their point of view. She should have announced it in parliament in order to avoid a parliamentary debate. And take it from me, the next session of parliament, we will ask for a debate, but they will never allow a debate.
so if I may digest from this...
No, let's stick to the subject.
Vinaya, you must have been stuck in a traffic. You just came a little late. I'll ask Kamlesh. Kamlesh is there, please. Kamlesh Api, who's there?
Yes, please.
I have a question. You spoke about sectoral regulator.
Yes.
Just would like to know, for the better understanding of the topic, when Congress, the Congress setting up government act, way back in the 90s. So even at that time, this was one of the questions that was raised. So do you think now, comparing these two events, I know they're not very similar, but in that case, if provided answers are given, do you think that you will be perhaps on a better stage to accept monetization what it is today?
Please. Congress sold only non-core assets. We had a set of criteria. 1. Core assets and strategic assets will not be sold. Number 2. Chronically loss-making units can be sold. And number 3. If the PSU has a minuscule market share and there are enough private players who dominate the market, this minuscule market share owning PSU can be sold. And number 4, we will not sell the asset to anyone where he could become a monopoly. Under these criteria, we sold. What if we said we sold loss-making units, we sold some hotels? But here, they're going to sell everything. There's nothing left. They will sell everything. So where are the criteria? That is the first question I'm asked. Where are the criteria under which you chose these assets? How did you choose these assets? Suddenly you say 8,154 kilometers of gas pipeline. You know how many years it took to build the gas pipeline by GAIL? 286,000 kilometers of fiber. It took 20 years to make this fiber. 25 airports, 31 seaports. It took years to build these things. And why are you selling it? Which criteria does it fall under? There are no answers. So don't compare what we did and what they are doing. We chose the asset based on criteria which were stated upfront, and we stuck to that criteria. For example, we said railways is a strategic asset. We will not privatize it. Here they're going to sell railways also. Konkan Railway is going to be sold. The Delhi-Mumbai freight corridor is going to be sold.
No, but apart from raising this issue on public platforms,
Yes.
is there any legal stand that the Congress is going to take? Are you going to challenge the court?
At the moment, it is not law to challenge. It is only an announcement. Let us see what they do. I'm sure somebody will challenge it under law.
But any public outreach planned by the Congress with regard to this? Any public outreach planned by the Congress to let people know?
If you go by the social media, the comments in the social media after we announced the press conference, after we wrote an article, I wrote one in the Indian Express last Sunday. The comments of the social media seem to indicate that 8 out of 10 people are opposed to this grand closing down sale. 8 out of 10 on an average seem to be against this. But this message has to be taken far beyond the social media to the people's media, which is why we are addressing press conferences.
But no immediate intervention by the court, that's what you're planning at this point of time.
No, but at the moment there is no, except the policy announcement, there is no action. Only when they first publish the first ITP, the invitation to bid, that becomes a legal document. And I'm sure somebody will challenge it.
But not at the bottom, the Congress.
Right. But Congress party need not go to court every time. We have to go to the court of the people.
गवर्नमेंट ने कहा कि अगले 4 साल में 6 लाख करोड़ यहाँ से खड़े होंगे और अभी ये जो एसेट्स है उससे हमें कितना रेवेन्यू मिल रहा है उसके फिगर से आपके पास
I've asked this question, there's no answer. I asked this question 4 or 5 days ago. You are absolutely right. The assets are giving us current revenue. Finance Minister says, I will get 1.5 lakh crore. But she should also say what is the current revenue. Suppose, for the sake of argument, the current revenue is 1,60,000 crore. She will privatize it and get only 1,50,000 crore. I don't know. Assume the current revenue is 1,30,000 crore. She is only getting an additional 20,000 crore. For the sake of 20,000 crore, you will sell all that has been built over 70 years? This is scandalous. This is daylight robbery.
हमने से और कोई सवाल पूछना चाहते हैं प्लीज
Any other questions? You asked a very pertinent question. I raised it. She has to explain what is the current revenue.
Nilesh and someone else. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. The Supreme Court has recently raised concerns about the accountability of private social media, especially the digital media. And
No, we are not talking about all that. We are only talking about national monetization.
I must appreciate the participation of the press and I must appreciate in the morning, with the early morning you guys are there. Thank you.
11:30 is early morning.
For Mumbai press.
Or you got up at 5 o'clock.
Yeah, Mumbai press. Yeah, Mumbai traffic and Mumbai press. So thank you so much guys.
I got up at 5 o'clock to come to the airport and catch a flight. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Subscribe now and press the bell icon. Never miss an update.